You are listening to the voice of self-discovery. Learn to discover a better you every day. Good evening and welcome to Self-Discovery Revelations with me, Priscilla App. This is on Voice of Self-Discovery podcast every Friday at 9 p.m. on YouTube. Today I'm led to share insights on how to make yourself teachable. This is the 24th episode and the second in the series on growth and self-improvement. Being teachable is a character trait that every person who seeks to grow must possess. It is impossible for a person who is not teachable to grow. In fact, nothing can delay a person's growth more than the attitude of being opinionated, inflexible, headstrong, and incapable of learning from others. To be teachable is to develop an attitude of learning, observing, listening, and asking when you need help. It is the humility to sit down and listen when you have the courage to stand up and speak. And this attitude doesn't come naturally to everyone. It doesn't come cheap, but it has tremendous benefits. When you become teachable, you become open to others, accountable to yourself. You learn and grow in knowledge and skills, and you attract opportunities, thereby expanding your possibilities for growth and self-improvement. So just before we get to learn how to make ourselves teachable, it's important for us to first assess ourselves and find out how teachable we are. So we're going to be making use of some reflective questions from John Maxwell's book, Self-Improvement 101. It will be helpful if you answer honestly to give yourself a fair assessment. I've answered these questions before, but I'm going to be answering them again just to see if I've made any progress myself from the last time I did. So, are you open to other people's ideas? Yes or no? Do you listen when other people are talking? On a regular day, do you listen more than you talk? Are you open to changing your opinion based on new information? Do you readily admit when you are wrong? Do you observe before acting on a situation? Do you ask questions? Are you willing to ask a question that will expose your ignorance? Are you open to doing things in a way that you haven't done before? Are you willing to ask for help or direction? Do you listen openly for truth instead of defending yourself? If you answered no to one or more of these questions, then you have room to learn to be teachable. You need to soften your attitude. As John Wooden said, everything we know we learned from someone else. So to make yourself teachable, first you need to check your response to correction and criticism. Sometimes, correction can come almost like a slap in your face. The unteachable person will put up a wall, a defense to the correction by looking for every opportunity to be right, even if it doesn't exist. But to be teachable, you need to tear down every wall of defense. How do you do this? By simply listening. Whoever is correcting you wouldn't talk the whole day, so just give them your undivided attention without a need for rebuttal. That is not the time to talk about your past accomplishments and successes or the certificates you acquired in the same area or field of knowledge you are receiving the correction or criticism on. Sometimes the person correcting you may be making a big deal of the situation or correcting you in the presence of others. And there are only two winning ways to receive it. One is to listen, and the other is to say thank you. If you combine both, the better. Listen and appreciate whatever the person is saying and say thank you. That's simple. I've done this in instances where, first of all, in my head, I knew I was right, I wasn't wrong. And somehow I thought the criticism wasn't necessary. But you just listen and you say thank you. If you combine both, like I said, the better. And the advantages, whoever is correcting you will be willing to prompt you in the future when you're making a wrong move with more dire consequences, whether at work or in your personal life. But if you give a negative feedback, that same person can be watching you fall into a ditch and wouldn't utter a word. The second thing to check to make yourself teachable is your ego. An overinflated ego can seriously inhibit your growth. If you want to be more teachable, then it's important that you are conscious of staying humble. In a work setting, for instance, it's important that we put out this whole idea of corporate hierarchy. Just put aside corporate hierarchy, put it behind you, and look at the person giving you advice or suggestion as an equal and a valuable asset. Mind you, every piece of input should be important to you if you want to grow. One thing I've learned to do is this: even if I disagree, I need to take the time to listen and understand the new perspective being offered. And this has helped me a lot. That is what it means to be teachable. That is what being teachable is all about. I also think we cannot succeed at checking our ego if we are not conscious of staying humble. So, humility does not come just by default that you want to be humble. So in every circumstance, you exhibit traits of humility. It takes a conscious effort. So we need to be conscious about recognizing and measuring our talents, gifts, and capabilities accurately. Sometimes we have an overly inflated perception of our talents, gifts, and capabilities. We think we are so much more than we actually are. So it's important we measure those things accurately and be willing to put them aside to accept instruction without clinging to our pride. Because we can't really learn until we become humble. We can't receive new knowledge unless we willingly open ourselves to it. So if you've put up a wall that prevents people from teaching you anything, you need to tear it down. Thirdly, we can make ourselves more teachable by looking for and planning teachable moments. I've come to realize that asking for feedback from your co-workers, superiors, and customers can go a long way. That's one way of planning teachable moments. Part of asking for feedback is also being willing to accept what you get. Accept the criticism you might receive. If you know there's something you need to improve but don't know how, asking someone else might give you a better idea. There are people in my life, for instance, I call mentors, that I have to talk to at least once a month, once every month. And all I do in that engagement is to see things from their perspective and get feedback. That's all I do. See things from their perspective and get feedback. And I call those moments teachable moments. I'm intentional about it, and you need to do the same to continue learning and growing. Humans as we are, we make mistakes, and sometimes it can be hard to see them from our own perspective. Hence, we need to engage other people we look up to and to ask for some input, advice, or feedback. A word of caution to make your teachable moments very fruitful. You need to pay special attention to these 4 things. As you are receiving feedback, input, or whatever it is, information you are receiving in your teachable moments, you need to look out for the points or suggestions you need to think about. That is number 1. 2, you need to look out for the changes you need to make. 3, you need to pay attention to the lessons you need to apply. And 4, you need to pay attention to the information that you need to share. So I realize in all my planned teachable moments, there are suggestions I need to think about, things I need to ponder over. There are changes I need to make in my personal decisions and lifestyle to make progress. There are lessons I need to apply. And there are some information I receive that I need to share with other people to also help them grow and learn. My time is up, so I would wrap up here. But always remember that the successful among us attain that level due to their teachability. They don't ever stop learning. They don't ever stop being open to new information, new ways of thinking, and new ways of doing things. So let's learn to be teachable. Subscribe to this channel to continue learning and share with others so it can be a blessing to them. I'll connect with you again same time next week. Remember, it's every Friday at 9 p.m. on this YouTube channel. You matter to me. Voice of self-discovery. Do you like a pro?